There are many things you can offer in a graveyard. You can offer Florida water. It's a kind of cologne with rose and other, and clove and other ingredients. Usually, the Florida water that you buy on Amazon has trace amounts of these things and still works. You might want to buy it from a spiritual practitioner if you have that available to you. That's more pure. You can offer sage, mugwort, burn that. Use a feather to both anoint yourself with the smoke and the grave itself, honoring the dead. I know from experience that those who are past really like human food and human drink, alcohol, and even just water. A lot of the time, offering of water can go a long way to founding a relationship with the spirit. Um, but something like mugwort or sage is really raising the vibration around a grave, kind of bringing up that consciousness that is sunk so low, and those who have passed, like I will discuss, are when we die, we are fragmented in a way. Our spirit, our life force, our ego, ghost, and our soul. The soul always moves on. But regardless, sometimes you might want to paint something, or you might want to bring your spirit's veves, and veve is a physical representation of a spirit's. It's we use it in ritual usually, either to represent a spirit or to offer to a spirit through. You can, if you know the spirit in particular, if you know the person who has passed in particular, you might want to bring their favorite thing. You might want to bring something that they liked while they were alive. And it's very important, no matter what you offer, that you speak to those who have passed as if they were still alive. Have a conversation, even if it feels one sided at first. Even if the first 10 visits you have to a graveyard, it feels one sided. Speak to the spirits as if they were right there with you. And, perhaps you can picture them as somebody who doesn't speak back to you, but who's watching you, who's listening to you. That's the best way to communicate with the spirits, as if they were just right there. And, on gravestones, we don't get a lot of information, but it's very important to the information that we get, try to zone in mentally on what was going on in that time, what that time period was like, what that person was going through. If they're in the military, it will often say, then you kind of put that into your conversation. Where were you? How did you experience this? What was your experience like? And thank you for your service. Or if it's a particularly elderly person, you can just recognize their wisdom. Human beings, the longer that we live, the more wisdom we gain, I believe. And it's very important to try and recognize anything that a spirit might be recognizable for. As an individual who works with the dead quite a bit, I know that they feel different than the living. You can picture them right there. You can talk to them as if they were right there, and you will feel them eventually as if they were right there. But just know that there's this kind of draw from your own spirit, from your own personality, from your own ego. They take a little bit of energy from you so that they can better understand you, so they can better communicate with you. And it's just a taste. If it's any more than a taste and you feel completely drained, or if you feel like you're really drained in a graveyard, you want to leave. You shouldn't stay there. It's a bad idea to stay there. But if you just feel like your energy is just a little bit low, like something took just a little bit, that's just somebody trying to get to know you. Because we have this, whether it be a spirit, a life force, or a ghost that's, an ego, um, they need a little bit to bring them back to this realm of communication, this time that we exist in, because time doesn't exist the same for them anymore. So they might need to figure out, what's going on just by tasting of you a little bit. Don't be afraid of it, and if you feel a big draw from your reservoir spirit or your energy in general, leave the graveyard. I've had that happen to me before. But regardless, treat the dead as if they are an actual person.
These people, they know what it's like to lose. They know what it's like to win.
They know what it's like to be human. I think that the greatest treasury of a city isn't where people think. It's within these stone gardens right here. The most valuable element on this planet is the human mind. And most dreams do not come to fruition in this particular life, these lives that you see laid out before you. But in the future, when their karma comes back around. Now, most people, all they can see is names, dates. But if you tap into the energy of this place, that knowledge can be transmitted directly into you, into your own mind. From what is left, the residual energy that is left from these people's minds that were once alive. It takes a lot of time spending a lot of time in a graveyard to be able to tap into something like that. But in a good graveyard, or one that's not especially troubled, you will feel a sense of peace and coldness, but not a bad coldness, a kind of chill that is a blessing to those who are too heated in their lives, too quick to move on, slow to think, and constantly focusing on everything external when we should definitely be focusing on that which is internal. Most of these people focused on that which is external doesn't make them bad, doesn't make them evil. Most of them are probably good people. But the only reason that I feel anything here is because a lot of these people identified with the body and with the life they were living right now. Some of that is left. When their soul passes on, the spirit, the ghost, seeps into places like this, into this graveyard. Even if all these stones were removed, even if the signs were taken down, the fence was taken down, people who are sensitive enough could still come to this place and feel it and learn from it. Offer to the spirits, give them a little bit of recognition for having lived human lives, even if we didn't know them. I think everybody'd like to have a little bit of that when they die, after they die. I'd just like to move on. Not really concerned about what my gravestone looks like or how many people are mourning for me. I want to do my job here in this world and move on. Not be stuck to this body, this time, this life, this place. I can't imagine being buried cold in the ground. No, I'll be on a pyre. Not to say that there's anything wrong with being buried. It's just my preference. I think it'll help my spirit to move on as well. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.